Hey, good morning. How you guys? Yeah, I'm loud. Mr. Heritage, you already know that. How you guys doing? Awesome? Who saw Matt Muse yesterday? Amazing. I just told Mr. Anderson, I'm like, please, please, please get him back. And if you have a chance, go onto his website. I showed my third hour and fourth hour class a couple of his videos, and one of the songs that he was going to do, Love Yourself, or I'm not sure, it's something about loving yourself. So good. So he didn't have his backup singers, that's why he didn't do it. Well, welcome to Writers Week. We've already had an amazing first day. Yell out some of the people that you saw yesterday that you loved, besides Matt Muse, because we just said that. Megan, Mary Fonz. Mary Fonz is a Writers Week. She's an alum. Well, today we get to listen to students, which is my favorite period to listen to, and I'm sure your favorites also. We're gonna start off with Ben Jennings.
Hi everyone. Just a quick shout out to Mr. Patton's yoga class if they're here. Woo! Yeah, I see you. Okay. I remember when I was 6, maybe 7 years old, and I flooded my cousin's house. Well, by flood, I mean how a 6-year-old would do it. Allow me to explain. It all started when my brother, sister, and I were invited to a sleepover at my cousin Lorenzo's house. We always had sleepovers at his house because he had the cooler house, in our opinion. We were doing normal 6-year-old boy stuff, building forts, playing pretend, that kind of stuff. Then, after dinner, my uncle had suggested that we watch a movie. My brother, sister, and Lorenzo's siblings all want to watch a movie that I can't remember the name of, but my cousin and I want to watch the popular Disney movie Fantasia. My uncle found a way that we can watch both, but since the movie the majority wanted to watch won the popular vote, my cousin and I got to watch our Fantasia on a dingy little computer screen. Everything was going as planned by my uncle. Everyone was happy. However, when my aunt and uncle went upstairs to watch their own movie, things started to get crazy. It all started when I was watching the infamous scene of Mickey and the Dancing Mops where they accidentally flood the castle. Then my young mind got a wonderful idea. What if we flooded the house, I thought to myself. It would be like having an indoor swimming pool. The problem was how I was going to accomplish such a goal. I decided to stick with the ingenious method that I came up with, filling individual cups up with water and dumping it all over the newly installed wooden floor. My cousin wasn't fully on board with this idea, but with enough persuasion, I convinced him. So off we went on our quest to flood the house. I thought that by the end of the night, we could be having fun in an indoor swimming pool, but I was wrong. The first thing that went awry is when the bigger children, aka my brother, sister, and 2 cousins, finding a nasty surprise when they walked into the kitchen. I was a little upset that they said we couldn't do it and my plans were foiled, but things got worse really fast. My aunt and uncle came down and let me just say they were not amused. They gave both me and my cousin a spanking and sent us upstairs. I was so upset. I knew my parents would do something like this, but never my aunt and uncle. I cried for a little while upstairs, then issued my most sincere apologies and pitched in to help clean up. After that, they sent me and my cousin off to bed in separate rooms, and I vowed never to commit such heinous actions ever again. The next day, I was still pretty shaken up about the events that happened the previous night. After my uncle dropped us off at our house, I was shaken and completely mortified when he let my parents know what had happened. I thought my parents would be even more furious with me than my aunt and uncle, but to my surprise, they were very understanding. In fact, my dad took me out to get a hot dog from Culver's, and then I asked my dad why he wasn't mad at me for what I did. He chuckled and said, "How could I be mad? I'm proud." I stopped eating. Proud? I said to myself. How can he be proud? Then he said something that stood with me ever since then. He said, "I admire that you got so inspired that you flooded your cousin's house. You just proved something to me. When you put your mind to something, you can do it." I stopped eating and thought about what he said. I learned a very important lesson. Anything in life I set my mind to, I can do. Whether that is getting into the top choir at Fremd, being a part of Fremd Theater, or being accepted into Marquette to pursue music education. I can do all of it with hard work and dedication, and I left the Culvers that night with no worries on my mind at all. Next up is Ruby Haskis.
Hello, everybody. Wow, this mic is high. I am not that tall. Well, originally I was just gonna start off with my piece, but then I realized it literally took 2 minutes. So I'm gonna ask you to do me a favor. You're gonna have to stand up for this one, so be prepared for that. I'm just gonna ask you 2 questions. And if it applies to you, stand up. We good with that? That okay? Woo! Yep? Yeah. Cool. Yes. All right. Stand up if you've ever been treated unfairly. All right. That was utterly unanimous. Oh, maybe not. Wow. All right. Take a look around. Look at all the masses of people around you. Say hi, maybe. Wave awkwardly to that one person you saw in class but didn't want to talk to. Yeah, this one. All right, sit back down. Now, stand up if you've ever done something about that unfairness. Wow. All right, guys. Wow. Give yourselves both a round of applause for participating. Yes, awesome job, guys. Yes. But also give yourself a round of applause if you stood up both times, because that is amazing. My piece originally was an assignment, so naturally I didn't think it was going to get this far, but here we are. So, I couldn't do what those people who stood up 2 times did. I couldn't. Because what I'm about to share with you is quite personal, and I didn't think I was gonna be up here doing that, but we're gonna roll with it. So without further ado, here is my piece. Being a girl. I am a girl. I am not to be shamed, mocked, or seen as less than you. I deserve respect, deserve to feel like a human, because I am. I hate the way unfairness grips me, constricts me like a slimy, deceitful, hurtful snake. I am told to sit still, don't talk, stop being so sensitive. And others like me, they listen. They drink in the words as a sponge does. But they do not thirst for these words. They hate the words, just as I do. It's just a joke, is it? Is being told how to live my life a joke? Is touching me in uncomfortable places a joke? Is the hurtful words, the lies, the knives to my heart a joke? I'm not laughing. When you say you're not an object, Or, I'm not objectifying you. Do you mean it? Or is it more of the slander? I won't sugarcoat. Living this way sucks. Don't tell me what to wear. Don't tell me what I can and cannot do. Don't show me that being a girl means a horrible thing. Respect me. Honor the word no. Treat me like the human I am. Because I'm a girl, and since I was born, I've been told that being a girl is the worst possible type of person to be. That I am a doll on a shelf for purchase, only to be thrown aside when a new doll is bought. I am a girl, and this is not okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I did not practice that, so without further ado, we have Kaya Patel. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. You're awesome.
All right. Hi, everyone. Hi, Kelly. Okay, first off, shout out to Mr. A's AP Lit class. Okay, so I have two poems for you guys today. They're both based on two poems Mr. Anderson showed us in class. The first one is a poem. My poem is based off of a poem written by Nikki Giovanni, and the second one is based off of a poem Jane Kenyon wrote. So let's get started. Did this just come off? Okay. A beautiful woman. I was born in the 6. I walked to the thundering falls and built the dam to collect tears that incessantly spill, to power a life that effervescently glows. I designed a tower so tall that an outsider that only chooses to visit once in their life must throw their head all the way back, looking up from the bottom. At all the floors, more than they could count, more than they could realize, but none they want to climb, to take the time to see the real view. I am bad. I am good. I sat on the throne of glass, drinking nectar with self-doubt, self-assurance. I got cold and sent fires to the Amazon, to melt the pain of the past, to show them the pain of the future, in hope to stop it. My oldest daughter is Mumtaz Mahal. The tears from her death created the Taj. Never will she be forgotten. She is a beautiful woman. I am a beautiful woman. I gazed in the bean and saw a reflection of the brilliant masterpiece standing in front of it. I am a flower so vivacious you can't help but choose me. For an anniversary present when he was 17, I promised him love for a lifetime. He promised me a lifetime to love. My loyalty flows ever on. I gave him a mirror to see his own strengths. He turned it right back around to remind me of mine, and that I was his. I stood proudly in front of the shattered glass, the scattered pieces that started to unite. I watched myself become myself and staggered. I mattered. I am the creator, so heavenly, so celestial, so angelic. I cannot be branded except by my own sword. So choose your words wisely. I mean, I can rise like planes that take to the skies. Thank you. All right. To my mother. I watched as she took a deep breath with 2 strong lungs. stronger than the holes that form in her bones. Still, sticks and stones would break her bones. It might have been otherwise. I watched as she smiled, sweet, kind eyes, unparalleled beauty. Sweeter than a cold breeze in a sweltering July afternoon in Death Valley. It might have been otherwise. I watched as she hiked uphill to see the waterfall, but she couldn't make it. We were so close, yet so far. She was so close, yet so far. It seemed so far, yet was so close. Like Sisyphus, it is over, a sick lie, a hopeful prayer. I watched as all morning she sat with her children she loved. At noon she lay down with her exhaustion, putting it to bed like her children, wishing she will wake up to be able to. It might have been otherwise. I watched as we ate dinner together at a table, making unforgettable memories with unforgettable food, love, laughs, life. It might have been otherwise. I watched as she slept in a bed in a room with crayons on the walls and pleaded for a chance to see another day, just like the days before. But that day I realized, this is her otherwise. Thank you. Next up, Kelly Lou.
Hi guys. All right, so first up, shout out to Mrs. Fidala's first period lit class. Yeah. All right, and then I also wanted to give a shout out to my mom who is in the audience today. So this piece that I wrote is dedicated to my mom, my best friend, my role model, and my hero. All right. When I was 3, my father started going back to China, sinking my family into debt, cheating on my mom, and leaving her to take over his collapsing business. The older I got, the more often he left until he stopped coming back at all. With my mom constantly stressed out trying to repay his debts and my sister living in her own world across the sea, solitude became a familiar void and a land of opportunity. As I got older, I began to feel my loneliness by immersing myself in teams and activities. In them, I finally found the family that I searched for at home. My family became my badminton coach, who escorted me to golf senior night when my mom couldn't, applauding proudly for my accomplishments as if I was his own daughter. It was my golf team who brought me a feast of my favorite foods when my mom was in China, reminding me that I wasn't alone. It was my speech coach and teammates who attended all of my performances, anchoring my nerves, commiserating with me when I failed, and cheering at the top of their lungs when I qualified for state. Through the encouragement of my teachers, coaches, and teammates, I discovered that families don't have to fit societal expectations or be confined to a single definition. Rather, it is a feeling of love and belonging that can come from different places in our lives if we open ourselves up to it. For the family I found and built around me at school, I am forever grateful. But none of it would be possible without my mom. When I was old enough, my mom began plucking the thorns from her body and offering them to me in the form of bedtime stories. Slowly, she unveiled a horrendous image of a man that I used to love. A man that constantly cheated on her, a man that abandoned his loved ones in a sea of debt, a man that secretly had another child, a boy that I will never call my brother. To provide me with a normal childhood, my mom never unveiled our financial strain, or the heartbreak she carried. When we didn't have money to pay for badminton lessons, she volunteered at my badminton club so that I could pursue my passion. When she was bedbound with bronchitis because she couldn't afford health insurance, she still mustered all of her energy to drive me to my activities. When our family's financial strain reached a breaking point, she found a job for the first time in her life to keep us afloat. Seeing my mom fight for me has shown me what real strength and resilience looks like. Though I've always wanted a perfect family, I realize that I am privileged to have a warrior for a mom. A mom who wears her broken as armor to make sure that I am the best version of myself. Watching my mom constantly adapt has inspired me to find my own solutions to the obstacles I faced. Through it all, I have not only learned to remain resilient in the face of adversity, but most importantly, that the tragedies of my family do not hold me back. In fact, they propel me to aim higher and stand taller, to rewrite our story of loss into one about triumph and overcoming. This year, I will be graduating from high school and attending college in the fall. My sister is having her first child and is living a happy life in London with her husband. My mom has been working at her dental lab position for 2 years, and she is now one of the most prominent employees in her office. People like her deserve better. She has raised and fought for 2 incredible daughters, and now it is my turn to fight for her and to have her story be told. To cherish her and care for her in ways that my father neglected to do his entire life. I guess all there's left to do is say thank you. Thank you for constantly pushing me to be better, for reminding me of my worth, and for never allowing me to lower my head during the toughest times. It is because of you, Mom, that I am unafraid to face the world. Sorry. It is your smile, your strength, and your heart that have shown me how fortunate I am to be loved by you. Thank you, Mom. I love you. All right, thank you. Next up will be Jonas Salas.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Shout out to Mrs. Fudal's first period class. All right, so what I'm gonna read is like a prompt asking, what advice would you give someone beginning their high school career? And what would you do differently if you could start high school over again? At the time I was writing for like a college app, not knowing, and for an ambiguous freshman, but in this time I edited it and revised it to make it seem for the underclassmen and those looking for some motivation. All right, here it goes. Dear freshmen, by now you could see that high school isn't in any way how movies depict what it would be like. It's nothing quite like High School Musical. There aren't any abrupt breakouts in song. There aren't any bullies that will give you swirlies in the bathroom, nor are there hall monitors who prowl the halls looking for those who ditch class. Entering a new environment where everything seems unfamiliar can be challenging at first. Being a high schooler may have a different feel to it, while to others it may just be another stepping stone towards adulthood and maturity. So, as the old saying goes, don't compare apples to oranges. Everyone runs their own pace at their own race. Everyone runs their own race at their own pace. At one point, there must have been a time where you were afraid of not knowing what would come next. For example, maybe the thought of possibly joining a club or a sport. Common thoughts could have been, am I going to like this or will I fit in? Well, you go on, try something new, and if you don't like it, it's no big deal. It's better to experience something new than to rue over the fact that you never tried. One of the activities that I've been involved in all 4 years is track and field. I know what you're probably thinking. Ew, you run for fun, or what is there to like about running? I've pretty much heard it all. What I love about track is not only the competitive aspect of racing head-to-head against others, but the friendships and memories that build on throughout the season. Literally going over hurdles, metaphorically and physically. Throughout my years here being a member of the track and field team, my coach has always brought up this proverb at the start of each new season. It goes, a society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they'll never sit in. This deep and meaningful proverb displays how influential someone can be, whether they live to see the fruits of their labor or leave off and venture into a new chapter in life. I believe this proverb inspires many of the upperclassmen to be role models for our younger teammates, because one day they will fill our shoes once we are gone. On the contrary, something I've done for 1 year out of the blue, Rhapsody in Blue, was joining the marching band. When I decided to join marching band my senior year, I wanted to influence those around me as an upperclassman. The thing is, I wasn't sure if I'd fit in and feel welcomed as a new member. Also, it seems as if marching band has a certain stigma to it, as if the whole band is comprised of a bunch of nerds. Trust me, we're not like that. If I had the ability to go back in time, I'd go back and without hesitation, join the marching band as a freshman. Not only is it fun being with the people you already know, what's even better is meeting those who you don't know. Now, you're probably wondering where the whole education and grades fit in high school. The answer to that is yes. Grades will help your chances into getting into that college in mind, and so stay in school and pay attention. There's no doubt teachers can be very influential to their students. However, I believe that our friends we surround ourselves with can be just as influential. With the support from your family and the education provided by our teachers, friends are the icing to that scrumptious dilumptious double layered chocolate cake or whatever flavor your taste buds fancy. Friends can teach you what teachers cannot educate within the walls of a classroom, nor what parents can give to their kids. These relationships with your friends may be life's most wonderful gifts. If I did have the ability to restart my entire high school experience, I wouldn't change a single thing about it. I enjoy all the ups and downs of it because, frankly, it makes me who I am to this day. It is the experiences we will remember and relish, and not specific dates on a calendar. Regardless of all the butterflies in your stomach, regardless of all the hurdles life places in front of you, sometimes you just have to get out of your comfort zone. So go on, go join that club or sport you're uneasy about and give it your all. Go out and experience something new. Heck, go ask out that special someone you've been thinking about. If you're feeling anxious and got that queasy feeling in your stomach, just remember between me and you, we're all in this together. Thank you. Next up is Vivek Nier.
Alright, first, I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Braverman's Lane class. Thank you, Jake. Alright, so since my piece is slightly long, I don't want to screw anybody else over. I will just start. It was the summer of 2015. Only 4 years ago, but it seems much further back. I had just finished 6th grade and was looking forward to the fun summer. But just days after the school year ended, my parents dropped a bomb on me. We were going to move to India. Why? I would ask over and over, but a single valid reason was never given to me. I was going to move to India, and that was final. I spent the days before my departure like any normal summer day with my friends, but those flew by, and eventually it was here. The big day. I don't remember much about the trip, but I do remember what greeted me afterwards. We landed in India right before sunset and rode an auto rickshaw, a piece of technology seemingly from the 1800s, to our house. I had no idea about the experiences that waited for me there. My first day of school. Shouldn't be that bad, right? Just relax, blend in, and you'll be fine. But I didn't. 40 kids in my class all wearing the same yellow and blue uniform, while I wore neon orange Nike shorts and a Tony Hawk t-shirt. Being announced in class as the new American kid did not help either. In class, I kept my head down and my mouth shut. The other children did try to be nice and asked me questions during break time, but I always felt like an interview, like I was something foreign displayed in a museum. I was always a sick child too. I grew up with asthma in the US, but that didn't get in the way of anything. But India was different. If you woke up early enough, you could enjoy the morning smog every morning covering the city. The 50-minute bus ride every morning through noisy and jam-packed traffic did not help. The city sanitation workers burning garbage on the side of the road definitely didn't help either. When I first arrived, I felt fine, but after a week or so, things started to change. My nose started to run and it did not stop. I met a new friend too, bronchitis. It wasn't anywhere close to life-threatening, But for a boy who used to play outside for a few hours every single day, it was a tragedy. However, being in India had its advantages in medical treatment. So my mom whisked me away to the new generation of medical organic treatment, homeopathy. And after a long question-answer session, the doctor prescribed me 3 identical small white pill bottles. Desperate for some help, I took the pills without question. Before a week ended, my mom was forced to visit a pharmacy and buy some real medicine. India was not looking too good. I hated the night. The night brought mosquitoes and thoughts. I would say silence too, but the stray dogs never stopped barking. When I slept, I usually had bad dreams. Not nightmares or anything like that, but just those dreams which you wake up and you're in an emotional daze. For me, those are dreams of me spending time with my old friends back in the US. I woke up and they were all wrenched away from me. So I learned to hate sleep and decided that staying awake was the better option. At least I could control my thoughts then. But one day, in the middle of my second week there, I felt more restless than usual. I didn't like lying down, just doing nothing. Wanting to go somewhere to do something, got up and walked out of my room. I walked through the dining room towards the front door when I remembered that, unlike houses in the US, my house in India had a rooftop terrace. It seemed like a nice place to relax, so I made up my mind to go. And maybe do some positive thinking up there too. But it was still scary out there. My eyes caught sight of my little sister's stuffed animals strewn across the floor, and I immediately scooped a few of them up. They were gonna be my companions for the night. I held them tight to my chest, went outside, and scurried up the stairs to the terrace. The moon was beautiful. I stared at it until my neck hurt, and then I sat down, placing the stuffed animals around me as if we were having a meeting. I named each of them because, honestly, there was nothing else to do up there. The horse was May, the panda Oreo, and the husky was called Tundra. We sat in silence for a few minutes, me looking at the moon and trying to discern stars in the sky until I got bored. And for some weird reason, I started to talk. Everything in my brain at that time, I just let flow out of my mouth. My experiences in school, my opinions, my emotions, I told everything to them. At the end, I felt pretty silly because they were stuffed animals, but for some reason I felt satisfied. For the first time in a long time, I felt a bit more at peace. And over the next few days, I stopped feeling silly. Every night we met on that same terrace, under the same moon, and talked about our problems. I shared my stories, and hell, I even learned some of theirs. For the first time, the mosquitoes stopped biting me, my nose stopped running, and I was home. Thank you. All right, up next is Rosie Colucci.
Shout out to Mr. Felberg's first period. I want to donate my body to science. I can't donate my organs. I don't have that choice. I have multiple life-threatening illnesses that have damaged most of my major organs, even at age 15. I've always known that I've wanted to donate my body to science. When I was 4 years old, during one of my brain surgeries, my neurosurgeon took a biopsy of one of my brain tumors. The result was tissue samples of my tumor type. My tissue samples have been involved in 3 different studies, one on the East Coast, one in California on the West Coast, and another one was sent off to Canada. They were all donated with my permission to benefit research. Some people tell me that I'm an inspiration because I want to donate my body to science. It feels like it's more out of necessity for me, more than anything else. I feel obligated because I have an extremely rare and complex set of conditions, genetic diseases, brain cancer, and more that the doctors know very little about. They need to learn from me. They need to research my organs, my brain, my lungs, my nerves, and my skin. From the time I was little until now, my team of doctors have said that I'm teaching them. They are learning from me and my body. If I leave my body to scientists when I die, then they will be able to continue to learn from me, from my body. This will allow them to conduct much needed research that they can only do because someone like me is donating their tissue samples. Because my brain tumors are inoperable, it's impossible for them to know exactly what's happening in my brain in the here and now. It's not until I'm gone that they'll be able to extract my tumors to learn about them. This will allow me to save other lives. And this is an opportunity I'm not willing to pass up by donating my body to science. For most of you, however, you have a choice. You are healthy and you are young and your organs can be donated. If God forbid something terrible should happen to you and you are forced to face with death before your time, make the right choice to be an organ donor. Did you know that every 10 minutes someone's name is added to the National Transplant Waiting List? Did you know that that one person can save 8 lives and improve 50 others just by donating your organs? How cool is it to think that you could save so many lives? Are you aware that only 3 people in every 1,000 people die in a way that makes it even possible for them to harvest their organs for donation? Sadly, a minimum of 20 people die each day waiting for a new organ, and this is due to a shortage of organ donors. When you turn 18, you can sign up to be an organ donor. They'll ask you at the DMV when you get your license, if you want to be an organ donor, please say yes. In a perfect world, there would be enough volunteers donating blood every day to save those in need. In a perfect world, all deaths would lead to organ donation and giving new life. But sadly, it's not a perfect world. And in your death, you might be able to save others. That's amazing, and it's your choice. Make the right choice. Please choose organ donation, or donate your whole body to science like me. I don't know about you, but I don't plan on using my body after I'm dead because I'll be dead. My soul will have left my body, and all that'll be left is an empty cavity that's filled with answers, waiting for researchers to discover cures that have yet to be won. We only get one life to live, and when it's taken from us, we can help others to live it on. It's the ultimate gift, the gift of life. Whether I'm here or not, I want to make a difference and change the world for the better. I don't want anyone else to have to go through what I've been through. If you even consider it, please talk to your family about it. A tragedy can strike at any moment. It is never too early to talk about it with your family, but it can be too late. I really hope I've motivated you to at least think about it. Think about this uncomfortable subject about organ donation today. I hope that my speech inspires you to become an organ donor. And remember, it's never too early to talk to your families. I know we all have a purpose here on earth. Do you know what your purpose is? Maybe it's to save a life. Maybe you can even save 8 lives after you're gone. How cool would that be? I know I'm going to change the world by donating my body to science. How are you going to change the world? Thank you. Up next is Jason Jung.
Morning, guys. Quick shout out to Mr. Anderson's first period class. And to my sister, she's right there. Please embarrass her. Okay. I'm sure many of you have struggled to feel a sense of belonging at one point in your life. Friends, school, and culture all make finding identity difficult. When I was younger, I found that the struggles I faced when trying to fit in gave me anxiety, making me self-conscious of my values and my ethnicity. I was in elementary school when I first experienced this. I was an 8-year-old third grader with chubby cheeks and spiky Asian hair. One day, I was eating lunch in the cafeteria, minding my own business, when I heard one of my classmates sneer at me with the words, "What is that? Why do Asian people always bring weird food?" I froze. I didn't really know how to respond. It was my food. I started to feel a deep, sinking feeling in my chest, and I didn't really have a comeback, so I just decided to throw out my lunch. So I bet you're wondering what I was eating that day. You want to guess? You're probably thinking I was eating dog for lunch. But you know what was in my sandwich that day? Egg salad. Yes, egg salad. You know who else eats egg salad? Moms on Pinterest. I swear, if you think egg salad has its roots in Asian culture, you've got bigger problems than I do. There's nothing Asian about egg salad. Next to Tenniper's blog post, egg salad's probably one of the blandest things around. And I was getting made fun of for having it. The only connection that I could find between Asian people and egg salad is that they're both yellow. And I once asked a friend why I was getting made fun of for having egg salad, and they said something along the lines of, "You are what you eat. Okay, asshole." I wasn't sure why I was getting criticized for having egg salad, but it made me self-conscious about the type of food my mom made for me. Every day, the instant I pulled out my lunch, it would be met with collective disgust from my peers. Kids from all races would make a comment about my food. White, black, brown, or any mix of the three. Even fellow Asian kids would ask what I was eating. As a kid, I always wondered why someone of the same race would ask me why my food was so weird. Societal rules had told me that those of the same ethnicity must naturally have to get along and have to be friends. I like to call this the race-to-race phenomenon. Yeah, I just made that up. This is best explained with that video of Barack Obama when he's in an NBA locker room, shaking hands with all the coaches and trainers who are white, but as soon as he gets to a fellow brother, Kevin Durant, and if you guys don't know, he's black, he goes in for a bro hug. And in elementary school, I wasn't getting that treatment from a fellow Asian brother, and I felt like I was getting betrayed, sort of like Poland in World War II. I became so self-conscious of my food that when it was lunchtime, I'd either try to eat my lunch as fast as possible, or I'd cover up my food with the flap of my lunchbox, sneaking a bite whenever I could. I'd actually get excited when my mom couldn't pack me lunch that day. It meant I could buy a lunch and bypass any school time anxiety. On those days, my chubby fingers would be crossed, hoping that the school would be serving Bosco sticks. Every time seconds were announced, I would bust down towards the lunch line. Even if those, sorry. Even if those Michelle Obama approved school lunches sometimes tasted like wet pizza, having a lunch that let me fit in was a privilege, and for once I started to feel at ease. I felt like I didn't fit in with everyone else, and my younger self blamed it on the fact that I was Asian. I began to embrace anything that wasn't Asian. I disliked K-pop, and I forced myself to listen to rap, and I started to eat less Asian food. I started to avoid my yellow friends and spent more time with my not-so-ethnic friends. I even decided that I would stop crushing on Asian girls because of the thought of them would just remind me I didn't fit in. And I guess half of that worked. But one time, I remember that I went into church, knelt down in front of an altar, and prayed to God that He change the color of my skin by changing my melanin concentration, or however that works. Just kidding, I didn't actually do that. However, social anxiety enticed me to conform. I looked down upon anything unique to my Korean American identity because I was afraid that, like my food, it'd be met with judgment from my peers. As an Asian American child, I believe I needed to reject the part of my identity to feel truly American. I grew up in elementary school thinking that the only way to fit in a country that boasts its cultural diversity wasn't by being myself, but stripping away parts of my identity that made me unique and conforming to the criticism that surrounded me. Looking back, I realized that the root of my cultural self-loathing wasn't my race, ethnicity, or skin color. It stemmed from a lack of self-love. I was quick to displace my social insecurities on my background, and every birthday party I wasn't invited to, I would blame it on the fact that I was Asian. But I failed to recognize that the assumptions I made were just indications of the shortcomings of my character. The value I placed on my ethnicity proved that I lacked self-confidence as a kid. I was rejecting a part of my identity and trying to fit in with those around me, but those thoughts actually inhibited my ability to socially interact with others. I've learned that when you reject a part of who you are, whether it's the size of your eyes, the size of your nose, or the egg salad sandwich you eat at lunch, it doesn't change who you are. You're only suppressing features about you that make you unique. If you were to tell me that your body, skin color, or height are faults of your characters, I tell you that such insecurities are actually opportunities for you to build your character. Your imperfections aren't going to go away, so you might as well learn how to embrace those qualities about you. Egg salad slaps anyways. Thank you.
What an awesome period. Give them another hand for these brave students.